Hey, Sherry. Oh my goodness, you're here an entire hour ago, like the minute I set it up, probably. So I'm sure you're not here any longer, unless you have me on some kind of back screen or something, right? Let's just jump into it. There's so much to cover today, you guys. And look, my necklaces, my earrings, it's all new stuff. Well, this necklace I made a couple years ago. This one I just finished making today. And together they're a little bit much, but that's okay. These earrings I made recently and I've never worn them. Let me just show off super quick because I love it when I make stuff that's very unique from all the other stuff I've ever made in my lifetime. And these are definitely unlike anything I've ever made. They're extremely dainty. So dainty you can barely see them, huh? Ah, let me see. I promise I'll get on with the true crime. You know me, I get all distracted with my hold still thing, with my decor, my lights, my jewelry. But let's just jump right into these cases. My goodness, I've got so much to chat with you guys about with Hannah and Jay-Z, the shooter, Luigi. And man, could Jay-Z have not lucked out more with the timing of Luigi taking the focus off of him? And yeah, the arrest was that just yesterday? The apprehension. It's so crazy trying to keep up, isn't it? And Hannah's still missing. I want to look up the word missing for you guys real quick. Because I looked it up a few days ago and I was like, I don't personally feel like Hannah meets the description of a missing person. If it's a voluntary missing person, then that's not a missing person. That's somebody who's off on their own. Like, that's not missing. A missing person is somebody who's this. Let's see, what does it say? One sec, sorry. Are you ready? A missing person is someone whose whereabouts are unknown to their family or acquaintances. Anyone who's not in their usual place of residence, anyone who has been abducted by a stranger or an acquaintance, anyone who has run away from home, an institution, or the people responsible for their care, anyone who has been abandoned by their parents or guardians, anyone who may be in need of assistance. The police will consider all missing persons reports regardless of the risk level and will take appropriate action. The response may range from an initial investigation to immediate police action. A missing person is a person who has disappeared and whose status as alive or deceased cannot be confirmed. Okay, this is from Wikipedia. As their location and condition are unknown. A person may go missing through a voluntary disappearance or else due to an accident, crime, or death in a location where they cannot be found, such as at sea, or many other reasons. In most parts of the world, a missing person will usually be found quickly. Criminal abductions are some of the most widely reported missing persons cases. By contrast, some missing persons cases remain unsolved for many years. Laws related to these cases are often complex, since in many jurisdictions, relatives and third parties may not deal with a person's assets until their death is considered proven by law and a formal death certificate issued. The situation uncertainties and lack of closure or a funeral resulting when a person goes missing may be extremely painful with long-lasting effects on family and friends. I'll just read the last paragraph. A number of organizations seek to connect, share best practices, and disseminate information. Hey, Anna Bees, what's up? Sorry, let me finish the last paragraph here. Thanks for coming in and saying hi, my dear. Let me highlight that one. A number of organizations seek to connect, share best practices, and disseminate information and images of missing children to improve the effectiveness of missing children investigations, including the International Commission on Missing Persons, the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, that's the ICMEC, as well as national organizations, including the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the U.S., Missing People in the UK, Child Focus in Belgium, and the Smile of the Child in Greece. So I stand corrected. It's so confusing, in my opinion. What happened to my cool pencil? Here, I've got to show off my fancy cool pencil. It's all gold. It writes really well, actually, so I like it better than the regular pencil. So let's get started with talking about Hannah and Union Station and all of it. She's been allegedly out of the country for a month almost. Today's the 10th of December. November 12th is allegedly when she crossed over. So yeah, let me do my thing with please subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed, or make sure that you are still subscribed if you are. Hey, Sherry, you guys are so awesome. Thanks so much for being my regulars. I love you. How are you today? Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like it. Turn on your notification bell to ring. Hit the like button if you'd be so kind. I have 3 for 3, so everybody's doing it. But for those that are coming in or watching on replay, crew, the like button's really helpful. Just the watching is super helpful. So I appreciate all of my viewers. It's even more helpful if you are not in awareness of this already, to watch a video all the way to the end. That helps the algorithm of the video and the content creator in YouTube. So I know a lot of us tend to switch videos before it's over just because we feel like we got the gist of it and there's a whole list of things we want to watch, right? But I love watching videos all the way to the end. I love watching videos on regular speed, not fast speed. People that are like really calm and soothing, and they're just being really honest and direct. And I found a brand new one today, you guys. I already linked her up in the description. And can I even remember the name of it? Something about pantry. Here, I can look at the description or look at my thing. She's awesome. I'm going to tell you about her because I feel like I found a gem with her channel. And it's called Bear Pantry Talk. Are you familiar with her? If you're not, check her out. She is she Cuban? No, she's from Belize. She's from Belize. She's been here since, oh goodness, at least since she was 18. So she's my age. She's, I think, probably born around 1967, like I am. I was, still am. Anyway, she's just really candid, and she was talking about the Hannah case. She was talking about a lot of things, kind of the way I do, just all over the map. But I thought she was really focused, and I thought she was really down to earth, and I thought she was really smart. So I made a comment in her comment section how much I enjoyed her content, and I want to share her channel with, I think people that like my channel would probably like her channel. And she's been around for like 12 years, I think. And so mostly her channel is, I think, lifestyle stuff, but she just kind of talks about whatever is on her mind. And she's got a very interesting life experience being from another country, and she's extremely honest and just, I think, enlightening, really, to sum it up. So, also, I feel that way about this channel that I discovered during the Micah Miller case that I was watching last night and today. Um, CJ, and his channel is called Evil CJ, which is kind of funny. Um, but he seems to be extremely down to earth and extremely honest and just doing good work, doing the hard work. A lot of sleuthing while he's on live, which can be really tedious. Like Zav Girl does that, Shan does that, Ara does that. Not a lot of us sleuth while we're online because it's slow, but I think a lot of the viewers, myself included, enjoy watching people sleuth so that we can feel like we're sleuthing with them. And also, if we don't know how to sleuth ourselves, it's a good little tutorial. So sleuthing is simply like looking stuff up on the internet, right? It's pretty straightforward. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. I'm really happy to be here with you guys. I love you so much. You are the bomb. I can't tell you how much this platform means to me. And I'm coming up soon on about 2.5 years of being a content creator. And although I felt like I had a lot of beginner's luck and I had a couple of really good mentors and my chat really good mentors, I also feel like I'm just kind of hitting my stride, just my comfort level of actually being a content creator and calling myself that. I didn't used to share that with people, but that's kind of my thing now. So we'll see how that goes. It's all very fluid. I am kind of self-employed, so I do a few different things for income. And this is something that I started sheerly out of passion, not for financial gain at all. I actually still haven't made more than 15 cents off of my channel. So, you know, it's a long story, but we're getting it ironed out. Someday I might get some back pay. We'll see. In the meantime, it keeps me clear and honest with how much I enjoy doing this, because I'm completely not doing it for that. And I think that a lot of content creators get caught up in trying to make the money because, yeah, we do need to make money, right? So anyway, I'm glad that I've had 2.5 years to establish my relationship with this format and with this media, to just learn it without money being my driving force. It's really about connecting my thoughts, my feelings, my ideas with like-minded people, and trying to help figure out some of these crazy cases and make heads and tails. So I think that we get a lot of gaslighting on the internet. I feel like we get a lot of gaslighting in mainstream media, and we're so inundated in it. It's like the fish doesn't know that it's wet until you take it out of the water. Like, that's all we know is, speaking for myself, from my generation, growing up on mainstream media, YouTube is refreshing because you get these smaller content creators and independent channels that are basically keeping it real. But then some of them are not, and some of them are selling out. So it's tricky. And it's just really nice to find content creators that are operating, I feel like, really down to earth and just being themselves and just trying to do the hard work, because it is hard work, but it's also pretty easy and straightforward if you're not complicating it. So, yeah. Where did we leave off yesterday? So Hannah missing for a month now. So I watched one video today. I didn't link it in the description yet. It was called Activate LA is the name of the content creator. And he did a tour of Grand Central Station in Los Angeles, which I found fascinating. I'm really familiar with Los Angeles, but not Grand Central Station. I've never been there. I was going to look up when it was built because I didn't even know that they had one. Grand Central Station, LA, built. Year opened. Because there was not public transportation to that level. I mean, there were buses. That was about it. Huh. Interesting. So construction 1903 to 1913. That's no, this has got to be New York. What are they talking about? I said LA. That's got to be the one in New York City. That's totally throwing me off. Because yeah, you've got like a Grand Central Station type of thing in every major city. Like I've been to the one in Chicago, I've been to the one in New York, and not the one in Los Angeles. So Grand Central Market. Okay. Sorry, you guys. What do they call it in Los Angeles? Just the Central Station. Central Station in Los Angeles opened its building on May 2nd, 1915. What? It's called Central Station. Anyway, Union Central. How did I not know about this? So I guess a lot of people that live in Los Angeles don't use it. It looks really nice in the video that Activate LA did. But it was actually that other channel that I was just talking about, the Open Pantry one. She said that she's lived in Los Angeles basically her whole life, the one who's from Belize, and she's never been there. So I thought that was interesting. And then the guy on Activate LA that made this video just walking around looking for Hannah, he lost his car. Like he lost his way. He was laughing at himself because he's like, I live in LA and I just got lost in my own hometown, basically. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So I'll do more research on that and look that up later because it's confusing me at the moment. It's like, so it's been there for ever. I just never knew until this case. Duh, right? I mean, that's cool. It's okay to not know things. We're all living and learning. So the thing that I'm really curious about, I put this in the title of my video today, of my live, is why in the world would SF Investigates make this broadcasting post on his social media that he's basically stepping away from searching for Hannah? Why is he making an announcement? It reminds me of like people in chat, people in the comment section, people on Facebook groups where they get all mad and they say, that's it, I'm leaving and I'm out of here. I'm canceling. I'm gone. You guys are never going to see me again. And it's like, okay, like bye, and don't let the door hit you on the way out. And a lot of times people say, this isn't an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. You can simply scroll and roll. So SF Investigates in broadcasting the fact that he thought that Hannah was voluntarily missing and that looking for her was basically like stalking her at that point. he also made some comments, I think it was in that same post, that her family told him that they didn't want him controlling the narrative. And I think he used the language like they wanted to control the narrative, and basically accusing them of, I thought the way he said it, as trying to make a fake narrative. And I don't necessarily trust her family, but I don't think in that specific instance that they're saying that they want to make a fake narrative. They're just saying they don't want him controlling the narrative. It takes me back to the Kylie Rodney case where Scammy was controlling the narrative, because whatever information you put out there before anybody else does about a case, that information sort of sets the template for the life of that case. So if you're putting out incorrect information, it sets an incorrect template. So you need to be very careful with the information that you put out, which is why law enforcement a lot of times doesn't put much out at all. Like, they keep their cards close to their chest because they don't want to taint the investigation. They don't want to taint the way people are perceiving the information. So I just think that his involvement in the case and then his getting out of the case the way he did, and the way he keeps going on to all these other channels and being interviewed, I just don't trust him, you guys. A lot of it is based on the information that he's presenting, and then some of it is just looking at him makes me feel like I'm gonna Ralph. Sorry, not sorry, SF. Like, I mean, I don't understand how anybody could feel like he's trustworthy, but some people say that they feel like he's trustworthy. So, different strokes for different folks, right? Anyway, I really think he's up to something. I really think that he's a fixer. I've said it again and again. In the Kylie Rodney case, it seemed like Xana May and SF were both basically sent in to fix the situation. That's a term that I learned, probably a lot of us learned it in the Pulp Fiction movie, right? Where they call the fixer, I think it's like Harvey Keitel or something like that. And I'd never heard that phrase, he's a fixer. So when you have a big problem, you call your fixer and they come in and clean it up, whether that's physically cleaning it up or PR or what have you. So that's what a fixer is. And I think that that's what he is. So I'm very concerned about Hannah's safety. All of the posts that she made where she said that she was on a mind F and that her identity had been stolen, or actually not just stolen, but like deleted. And it just makes me kind of jump down this rabbit hole of like, are people trying to eliminate her existence on social media so that they can put her underground? I know that sounds like crazy talk, but it's a thing. Like, it's real. Like, people get put underground when they're being trafficked. So let's talk about trafficking in the Kentucky case, you guys. The case with Mickey Steins, the ex-sheriff, and Kevin Mullins, the judge that he unalived. That was like 3 months ago already. Man, time flies. So in the lawsuit, so I've seen interviews now with the woman who is suing Mickey Steins, was suing Mickey Steins. I don't know if she is anymore since he's in jail. Well, yeah, she's still going to be suing the county, and he's just the person named in it. So yeah, it's still an active lawsuit. So I don't remember off the top of my head what the video was that I was watching. That it was probably Nancy Grace or something that had her lawyer, who's been a lawyer there in the Appalachians for over 40 years. So he's her legal representation. He is the person who filed the original lawsuit filed the original charges. He's been by her side for 2 years now. So he said that everything she's ever told him has proven itself to be true over the last 2 years. So he trusts her implicitly. And she swears that she was trafficked in the courthouse in Judge Kevin Mullins' chambers to some really old guy. It was so gross that she was scared, and she was told that if she did this favor, we'll just call it a favor to try to keep it kind of clean for YouTube, for this old gross guy, that would help her case tremendously, being in trouble with the law. So she went ahead and agreed to it. That doesn't make it legal. That still makes it legally an abuse of power and a sexual assault, basically. So she was coerced. She was basically forced. And that happened in the courthouse. And the name of that old man is in her most current lawsuit, but the judge wouldn't say that his name on the camera with the person that he was interviewing with, which, you know, that's nice of him, but I don't know, if this guy did it, then why protect his privacy? This was the first time I'd seen the woman's face, the victim, and knew her name. So I don't think I wrote down her name, so I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't want to be broadcasting her information anyway. I will find that video and put a link to it in the description. But what is important, what she says and what her attorney says, is that this is a problem that is much bigger than her and these people named in her lawsuit, that this is a huge thing in the Appalachians, that the addiction, drug addiction is really high, and that when women get in trouble with the law, a lot of people that live in the Appalachians don't have a lot of money. And then, of course, if you're addicted, you're spending all your money on that. So it's very typical, according to them, for women to get sexually exploited by people in positions of, people in positions of power. So what they're hoping to do with this lawsuit isn't just to get her case figured out, but basically to shine a light on this very scary and sad reality that a lot of women are subject to. And yeah, I would venture to say that that happens in a lot of places. We know that it happens in women's prisons. I mean, female prisoners end up having babies with prison guards fairly regularly. I mean, it's not unique. So, you know, part of that could be the victims could be considering it consensual, but it's a power dynamic where it can't be. It's illegal, and it's going to be somewhat of a Stockholm syndrome too, where the victim is going to tell themselves that they're in love with their captor in order to keep themselves safe. That's what Stockholm syndrome is, basically. So, yeah. Where did all my friends go? I got 7 people viewing. I got 6 likes. Thanks, you guys. I'd love for you to be more active in the chat, just because I thought that this was going to inspire a lot of conversation. So I don't have a lot of notes, to be quite honest. But I wanted to talk about Hannah. I wanted to talk about the Kentucky thing. And I wanted to talk about Jay-Z some more. Like I said yesterday, I have done a deep dive on the P. Diddy stuff back when it first happened. I did a deep dive on the R. Kelly stuff because of the P. Diddy stuff. Back when the R. Kelly stuff happened, I didn't pay much attention at all. I don't know that much about Hannah. Oh, really, Anna Bees? Wow. That's interesting to me because it seems like everybody's following that case. But now with the shooter in the, that's kind of taken everybody's attention, right? Him getting arrested yesterday. So Luigi, is that his name? Lucky dog that Jay-Z is, that Luigi is taking the focus from his very explosive, the addendum or the amended version of the lawsuit that was filed on Sunday, naming him in an attack, basically. I mean, the girl was 13 years old, so it doesn't matter what the details are of the case. That he and P. Diddy arred her together with a third famous person there present watching, who is a female, and they're calling that person B, subject B, something B. And I'm like, huh, what a coincidence, B. All right, who's Jay-Z married to? That's her nickname. So I don't know. You know, Jay-Z is now the identified person A that was in the initial lawsuit. So the initial lawsuit had P. Diddy as the only one that was named, and then subject A and subject B. So now that they're naming subject A, they're still calling subject B subject B. So it might not be the queen bee, but this was like 24 years ago. Man, I can't even keep track of the years in my own life, let alone other people's. So this was right around the year 2000. What year did Aaliyah pass away? Because I'm not the only one that thinks that it's extremely relevant. Aaliyah didn't pass away until August 25th, 2001. She was 22 years old. So for anybody who doesn't know, you know, she was an R&B star that was married to R. Kelly when she was 15. Extremely talented, extremely glamorous, and she was trying to fly back from the Bahamas in a small Cessna jet that I think crashed before it got off the runway. And like 8 or 9 people passed away in that accident. So it wasn't just her. I don't think anybody survived. 8 other people on board. I'll read through it later. There might have been 2 of them that were like taken to the hospital that passed away later. But her passing away has always been suspicious. And so she had a boyfriend named Dane, and I think that's his name. He was in direct competition with Diddy and Jay-Z. Let's see, boyfriend. And he was older than her too. But at that point, she was a lot older, so it wasn't so bad. Damon, I'm glad I looked it up. Damon Dash. So he's shared a lot of information. So Damon Dash still talks about it. You know, he was hoping to marry her, and it seems that Jay-Z was hoping to date her, and he didn't get to because Damon Dash was in the way. So let's see what it says on Wikipedia about the passing away. I'm curious about the let's see, just get to the end of this thing. 8 other people on board. It was overloaded. It was a really small plane and it was overloaded. So it crashed shortly after takeoff. The pilot was later found to have traces of cocaine and alcohol in his body and was not qualified to fly the aircraft designated for the flight. And it doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure that all of them passed away. And so 2001. So this sexual assault that P. Diddy and Jay-Z and Subject B are all named in, I believe is from the year 2000. I think that it's the year prior to that. So it was like the music awards. It was an after party from the music awards. In 2000. Yeah, the music awards in the year 2000. Okay. Just making sure I'm on track with that. Hey, Fred. Hola. It sounds very sus from what you have said. Yeah, so Aaliyah was on the phone with Damon, her boyfriend, before she got on the plane, and she said she didn't want to get on the plane and she didn't feel like it was safe. She didn't feel comfortable. She felt like there were a lot of things wrong. So there, I think, has always been a cloud of suspicion that it was sabotage, basically, and that the others on the airplane were sacrificed with her because there was such an investment in getting her gone. So that's been a thing ever since it happened. I honestly didn't pay much attention to any of that until I did the deep dive this past year on P. Diddy and R. Kelly and really had my mind blown. I highly recommend, what was that, Surviving R. Kelly? Oh, dreadful, dreadful series, but very packed with crucial information. And so R. Kelly was hanging out with P. Diddy, and then he was doing all kinds of crazy trafficking. We know that Diddy's accused of doing all kinds of crazy trafficking. It's so much bigger than just the two of them. I mean, you look at, of course, we can always go back to Epstein and, the Abercrombie and Fitch people, Wexler, he's like 86 years old. Um, and yeah, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to give up any information about that. Um, it's amazing how sometimes it can be really hard to find information. Um, Michael Jeffries and they were, Abercrombie and Fitch was slapped with that lawsuit back in October last year of 2023. And it wasn't until more recently that Jeffries was arrested, right? And then Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein, they all hung out together, you guys. So these are all old white dudes too. So The old white dudes don't seem to get the same kind of treatment as the R&B not old white dudes, if you catch my drift. I think that there's certainly something substantial to that type of racism. It's always been around, Anna B says. Not saying that it's okay. Right. The casting couch has always been around, 100%. It's nothing new. And the casting couch is, of course, the term used in Hollywood. And it's not just Hollywood, it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere, especially like politics. Like, I mean, that's what lobbyists do, is they sleep with politicians to get the politicians to vote the way they want the politician to vote for whatever thing it is that they're trying to get passed, right? So that could tie in pretty easily to like our health insurance industry, and getting back over to the whole thing with Luigi, the 26-year-old guy who was arrested yesterday for unaliving the CEO of United Behavioral Health. So Evil CJ has done an extensive amount of digging on this, and it is just fascinating. So for anybody who doesn't know, and I didn't know until watching Evil CJ's latest live, that Luigi had a back injury, I think in 2023. I think it's when he was living in Hawaii. So he was valedictorian of his high school, and he went to a very prestigious high school. His family owns nursing homes, so they're affluent. And then he went to school in Pennsylvania and got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in, I think, information technologies, computer science kind of thing. And then he got a job that was remote. So he was able to move to Hawaii, and he lived with a group of people. So the person who organized that kind of communal living is one of his friends who's come out and spoken about him. And so I think what happened when he was living in Hawaii back in 2023 was he trespassed onto a business's property to get to a good surf spot. And then when he was surfing, he was gravely injured and broke his back. So he got cited for the trespass. So they only knew that he trespassed because he needed help. And then that back injury took him down this dark path that resulted with the crime that we're all looking at in the news right now, right? And then his mother had severe health issues, and just a horrible story of her having to spend thousands of dollars to get to where the insurance would cover the procedure that she needed. And then by the time she finally met the quota, it was October. And then her doctor went on vacation. And then by the time she could get the surgery she needed, it was January. And so she had to re-meet that several $1,000 quota again. So he dealt with his mother's pain and suffering a lot. It sounds like he was very close with her. I think he's the youngest of 3 kids, and I think his father passed away a while ago. Not sure what from, but at first I didn't think I was going to be very interested in learning anything about him or his story, because it's just kind of, I don't know, it just didn't seem to capture my intrigue. But now it is, and sometimes that's because of the way certain content creators cover it, but also I think the way he was posting things, you guys, he was releasing videos and then had a friend releasing videos after his apprehension. So some of the videos that CJ found were getting deleted or blocked as he was finding them, you guys, like literally. It was crazy. And yeah, like I said, I'll direct you over to his channel for that. And Anna B says, you are correct. Yeah. So we're only at 45 minutes, but I'm just kind of brain dead, you guys. Help me out here. Give me some ideas to work with. I thought I wasn't brain dead. I had so much on my mind to talk with you guys, but I was in the middle of CJ's live reviewing it because it was already over. And I like to finish those things before I start my lives, but I didn't want to keep pushing the time back. So I went ahead and started anyway. So maybe I'll just keep this one short and sweet because it's been a little bit half baked, which is serves me right for calling Hannah's case a half baked case. This is why I don't like to criticize other people, because I feel like whatever it is that I criticize anyone for, I end up kind of adopting that same thing. It's like karma. It's my own insta karma. So yeah, I'm still very concerned for Hannah's safety, whether she's missing on her own accord or not. I'm very concerned about the truth in the case. I'm very concerned about the way she was treated by Alan and Amun and the mysterious Mariana. I want to know where they are, why they're not being grilled, and why we don't even have Mariana's last name, and we don't have her on that itinerary that I used on my thumbnail. And again, I want to give a shout out to Zav Girl for presenting that itinerary on her channel. I'm sure it's been around other channels as well, but that's where I took my screenshot from. So I can't think either today. There's just too many cases and they're all colliding. It's just like, damn, man. The thing with Jay-Z is huge, huge, and it's totally overshadowed by Luigi. And then Hannah's case was big, and now it's getting overshadowed. And I'm just not convinced that things are sound for her at all. I'm not convinced that that's even her that was crossing the border to go to Mexico. I'm not convinced that her father's unaliving was a self-deletion. I'm really not convinced of anything in her case, other than that she got off of that airplane in LA on December 8th. And I'm getting the impression pretty clearly. I've waited before I've stated this as fact, but I'm pretty sure that when she got off that airplane on December 8th, that she went straight to the staff of the airline and said that her luggage was en route to New York City and she wanted to have it rerouted back to LA as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure that she did that before she left the airport. And that might be where the confusion came from, that she was on standby, because maybe she said, okay, I'll be on standby. I don't know. That whole thing was so weird. Like, oh, she missed her flight because it was only 42 minutes. And then we find out that the ex-boyfriend was flying with her and not with her. They were flying separate. And I said it yesterday, that's a bald-faced lie. They were sitting together. We were told that they weren't sitting together. And we believed it because they're exes. Why would they be flying together? But they were sitting together. They just weren't sitting right next to each other. They had her husband sitting in between her and her ex-boyfriend. And then allegedly Mariana is flying with them too. So is she on the other side of Amun? Is she sitting? Is Amun sitting between his wife and his wife's boyfriend? Because Alan was still together with Mariana when he married Hannah. And my whole thing yesterday was, I was saying, I question if Hannah was aware that this was a dishonest, a fraudulent marriage. I question if she was in on the deal or if she found out and then That's why she got off that plane in Los Angeles. I really question that. And I want to say too, from the times that I've been to Hawaii, because I've shared with you guys, I've been there a couple of times. I've been to the Big Island twice. I've been to Oahu once. Um, Locals don't fly off of the islands to the mainland. It's kind of set up so that it's really expensive to get a ticket that originates from Hawaii to the mainland and then back. And we think it's expensive to fly to Hawaii. It's way more expensive to fly from Hawaii. So when we're on the mainland and we get a round trip ticket, they're trying to get those sold because they want tourists to go there and spend all their money. But they don't want the locals leaving because they need somebody who's going to do all the slave labor for the tourists. Tourism is pretty much the industry of Hawaii. So of course, there's other industries, but that's like the backbone of what keeps those islands afloat. No pun intended, right? Um, anyway, for Hannah to be purchasing a plane ticket to New York is huge. For her and her 3 frenemies to be all purchasing plane tickets from Hawaii to New York and back, I'm assuming that they were all round trip tickets. That's 4 times whatever her ticket cost, not to mention the hotel room that her aunt alleges that she prepaid for in New York City. And did anyone ever check into that room or not? What hotel was that reservation at? Lots of questions, lots of Swiss cheese in the story. So why so secretive? Like, are those 3 frenemies, the Mariana, Allen, and Amun, are they all under investigation by the FBI for the fraudulent marriage allegations? I sure hope so. And even if Hannah was aware of it, she still could have been getting manipulated by her boyfriend and by Allen. And I'm not trying to portray her as all innocent, but it's possible that she's kind of an innocent. It's also quite possible that she's very naive and that she just didn't really comprehend what she was getting involved in, and that she kind of thought it was fun, and maybe she was having a relationship with Alan. Maybe it was partially that they were like sleeping together because Moon had dumped her, and partially that he needed his visa. And maybe she didn't realize that Moon had set it up, because that's the allegation, is that her marriage to Alan was the 4th fraudulent marriage that he organized. That his was one of them, his marriage to Mariana. And then I don't know anything about the other 2. So it's very curious, in my opinion. So I guess I'm just going to wrap up. Here we are, getting close to the end of the hour. Thanks so much for watching. We have 3 people and 7 likes. It's such a skinny crew. Yeah, I'm guessing everybody's really caught up in the Luigi information and the Jay-Z information. And, I'm interested in those. I'm very interested in the whole situation down in Kentucky, because that was what I had thought, was that we were just seeing the tip of the iceberg with Mickey Steins and Kevin Mullins and the deputy. I'm very interested in the situation with Hannah because it reminds me so much of the situation with Kylie. And it's just, what, another coincidence that SF Investigates was there for both? He was there with Kylie from like the minute it started. Like, how did he even know to get there the minute it started? How did he know to go to LA the minute this thing happened with Hannah? That's sus right there. Timing is everything. So The fact that Kylie had allegedly been to Mexico right before her disappearance, and then Hannah allegedly, quote unquote, disappears into Mexico. Yeah. Ugh, SF. Yeah. I know. He's so effing creepy. There's something profoundly wrong with that individual, in my opinion, in my estimation. There's something extremely crooked about him, extremely untrustworthy, and sly, and dangerous, and dirty, and dark. So that whole underworld, I mean, with Kylie's case, it seemed like there were certain connections to what I call Titanic ritual abuse, just to keep that buzzword out of my live stream. Titanic, but with an S, for anybody who is new to that. Um, and that's the same type of thing with P. Diddy. I mean, he's all about the Titanic type of crap at his parties, if you want to call them that. I mean, it's more like ritualistic type of stuff. I mean, we've heard stories about children being on tables, maybe without clothes, trigger warning, maybe with food on their bodies, like that they're the platters that are serving the food to the people at these gross parties, if you want to call them that. That is not always children. Apparently there's some adults that are used as serving trays too. He's a snake. Yeah. Yeah, I think I said yesterday, and I don't use that phrase often. He's like a snake in a human suit. Yeah, he's really dark. He's a really unsavory character, in my opinion. And again, I might be poking the bear, and if he wants to come after me, that's life. I doubt he would. I'm such a teeny tiny channel. Like, why would he even care? But I'm willing to take that chance because I think it's important to call a spade, and I definitely think he's a spade. And just the whole thing with the possibility of Kylie Rodney being 16 years old and kind of having the same type of profile as Aaliyah when she was 15, breaking into the music industry. Kylie being 16 and breaking into the music industry puts these beautiful young women on the radar of these disgusting dirtbag record executives. So you got to take that into consideration. You've got to. Absolutely. So I am going to sign off. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Love and light. I made a yoga video last night, but there was no volume for some reason. I can't figure that out. So I was going to put the link in the description from that video to a video with the volume, with the verbal instructions, so that if people want to play them on like two different devices or on two different screens, they can have the verbal along with the visual cues. And it's my yin routine that I keep evolving. So it's been a very good routine for me to keep up with. I do it almost every single day. Yesterday, I did it very mildly because of my concerns about that car accident when I was rear-ended on Friday night. So, I'm hoping that all of this yoga that I've been doing so consistently for the last year and a half will prevent me from having any type of whiplash effects. So, fingers crossed. Pray for me if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it very much. All right, love and light. Have a really good rest of your day. It is Tuesday, December 10th, and signing off. Stay hydrated. be yourself. Take care, and thanks for watching. See you soon.